Hello, my name is Richard Matthews, and I just want to do a quick video review and walkthrough of WPEngine as a WordPress host for your website. So give me just a second here to switch over to the screen sharing thing, and I'll walk you through my own WPEngine hosting account and give you sort of an idea and a review of what I think is really good about it, who it's good for, and basically how you can use it for your business. So this is an actual screenshot from my WordPress, or not my WordPress, my WPEngine install, and you can see it is March, April timeframe, 2015. And this screenshot here, I do have to blur out all of my clients, but you can see I have 25 or so WordPress installs on WPEngine, and we're getting about this last month so far, in the last 3 weeks, about 100,000 visits to these various sites. So WPEngine is working really well for me and my clients. Now, from this standpoint, one of the first questions people have is WPEngine right for me or right for you? Well, and it's going to depend, really. So if you are a new person online and you're just building a blog and you want to share pictures about your cat or your dog or something like that, WPEngine really isn't for you. But if you are building a website that you intend to either make money with directly or that supports your business in some way, right? So if it is your business website and customers come there to make phone calls or appointments or whatever it is for your business, then WPEngine, I think, is absolutely for that kind of situation. Because it's not a cheap host, right? It's going to cost $29 a month at a minimum, which is a easy investment to make if your business is, if your business relies on your website in any way. Otherwise, if your business does not rely on your website, I would go for a cheap shared host, anywhere from HostGator to Bluehost or GoDaddy or something like that, where you're paying $3 or $4 a month. But if you're looking for a professional quality host, I haven't found anything better than WPEngine. I've used pretty much everyone. In fact, just this last month, I was paying both WPEngine and Rackspace cloud hosting, and I had all of my sites. I had about half my sites on one and half my sites on the other for all of my clients. And I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt, WPEngine in this class of managed hosts is the best that there is. Give you a quick walkthrough. This is a dashboard when you first log in here, and you can see it shows my installs. I have 23 installs here. It is fairly simple to get around. I'm going to sort of just give you a brief tour here. You can see the number of visits that any of these sites is getting over the last 10 days, bandwidth that they're using, the amount of storage these sites are using. You can see I've got some really big sites and some really small sites that don't get a lot of traffic. But for it can handle everything in between, which is really nice. If you move here, let's see if I can get this to go to the next one. If you click on the little down arrow for any one of your installs, you get quick links that go to this particular site's overview, the domains that are attached to it, content delivery networks, redirect rules, and we'll walk through all these in just a few minutes. So this is just your quick access to those. And then the other thing that's on this dashboard is this add install button. So if you click this little add install button here, it pulls up this thing. And this is one of my favorite features here on WPEngine, is you just put in a name of your site and it's going to set it up on WPEngine.com. It's like a little subsite form, and you can add your domain later. And you can either copy a website that already exists. So if you have like a templated version of your websites, if you're building sites regularly, you can copy one of those and then just create the install from that, and you don't have to do any setup work because it's all already done. Or you can create a fresh install, which I do for a lot of my clients when we set those up. And then you can choose whether or not you want to enable WordPress multi-site, which is really, really cool. It is on the professional plan and above, so it's not available on the $29.99 plan. But if you are using multi-site, they come default working with multi-site, and it makes your life really easy if you're doing that. So I'll show you some examples of multi-sites in just a minute and what you can do with them in here in WPEngine. And if you've ever tried to run a multi-site install on a shared host or something like that, you know how much of a pain that can be. So having it in here as just a default feature and already set up and working is a massive time saver, at least in my business. So this is the installs, when you click from dashboards to installs. And I've gone ahead and pulled up one of my installs here. And I've just blanked out all my business names there, but this overview is going to give you the domain that you're on, the IP address for that, the CNAME records that you can put over in your DNS host, and just some stats on your visitors for the last 30 days and how big your site is. And it's also going to give you your SFTP logins for the site, which is wonderful. And then it's also over here, it's going to tell you whether or not you're up to date. And one of the things I really love about WPEngine is they will proactively update your WordPress site, but they don't do it the moment the update comes out. They actually wait a few days or sometimes a few weeks and check to make sure that there's no vulnerabilities and there's nothing wrong with it, and then they will update the site. Or you can choose to say, hey, I want to defer, I don't want to update to this one, I want to update to the next one on the next time that WordPress updates. Anyways, that's very cool. You also have the ability to block traffic on production sites. So if you don't want anyone to be able to come to the site while you're developing it, you can block it or password protect it. And you can also copy your install right from here. So there's a lot of stuff you can do right from the dashboard. If you switch down to the domain section, the domain section will show all the domains that you have pointing to that website. So you can see on this website, I have a multi-site install here. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 domains, 7 sites, and there's more down if I were to scroll here, sites that are attached to this. And it's very easy to add them. You just add the domain and tell it which, that you want to point it to it. And then you go to your DNS settings and you put in the IP address for this site, and it's all done. So really easy to add that stuff. They handle everything else, and they automatically map everything into your WordPress multi-site install, and you just got to go into the that site and say, hey, here's the domain that I want to use with it. So very cool there, where you can add domains, and it's all just managed really easy. Don't have to do any sort of like server setup or anything, which is cool. If you go to the next tab down, you have content delivery networks. So if you have content delivery networks, basically just make certain static resources on your website load really fast. And you can come in on a per domain basis for that install, turn the content delivery networks on or off. So again, that's for a multi-site. If you're on a single site, you'll just have the CDN on or off. So you can have that available. And again, the CDN comes standard with the professional plan. If you're on the personal plan, I think it's a little additional charge there. I think it's worth it for the speed that you get additional on your websites. So next one is the redirect rules. So if you go to redirect rules, I don't have any redirect rules installed, but I have had on client sites in the past where they had an old site that they wanted to change the domain from this to that other thing, or they wanted to change the subdomain from one to the other, and you can build those redirect rules right in here, and they all function and work real well. And if you don't really know what you're doing to get that to work, their live chat, I've always because I don't know a lot about rejects and redirection rules and stuff like that, I've always been able to go into the live chat and say, hey, here's what I need to do in the redirect. I need to have this go to here. And they'll come in and write these redirect rules for you if you don't know how to do that, because they're live chat. They've got fully trained engineers in there. Really cool. Then they also have this, one of my favorite features as far as peace of mind goes, is they do daily backups, right? You can see these are daily checkpoints. Every night they back up my website, and I don't have to do anything about it. So I don't have to use like Backup Buddy or pay for any backup solutions. All already taken care of. If I'm going to make any major changes to my site, I can just click backup now and have a restore point. Then I can make those changes. And then if I manage to totally break something, I can check one of the boxes and click restore, and 5 minutes later my site's back up the way it was before I went and broke it, right? So very cool to have that already built in and taken care of. Gives you a lot of peace of mind, especially if your business relies on your website and you don't want to like lose things that are going on. So next one here is the error log. They got the error log built right in for your server, and you can pull up and see what errors are happening on your website. And so this is the error logs are there, and you can see I've already got some problems I need to go through and like fix and see what's wrong with that. Apparently I got something wrong with my WooCommerce thing, but error logs are there, and if you don't know how to read them, you can head up to their live chat. They can help you with that. So very cool. That's in there. And then if you're doing development and you're working with developers and you want to be able to push stuff to Git, they have Git support enabled already. I've never used this personally. It's a very advanced feature, but it does allow you to have multiple developers working on a single site. And you can push your push your stuff to and back and forth to your server from your Git repositories, which is, again, very cool. And it's more advanced than what I'm using for most of my sites and my clients, but it is there if I needed to ever use it for a big client or for big stuff that we're working on, where there's going to be a multi-developer team or something. So that is Git. And then another one of my favorite features, and I can't tell you how amazing this is, but they just added this to the personal plans as well, where you can have SSL certificates on all levels of their stuff. You pay $50 a month or a year for the SSL certificate, of course. So you can just click buy SSL certificate and you can buy it right from them. And they handle all the install, they handle everything set up for your domain. And then you can come in and you can say, hey, I want to force HTTP for non-SSL pages, or you can use SSL for all your pages. You can do whatever you want there. You can see I've got mine checked to use HTTP for everything except the pages that I set up in here. So I can come down on my checkout pages and my account pages on like my e-commerce store. Those ones use SSL, and I can just type in the pages I want SSL with a little plus button, and they're added, and I don't have to do any configuration. It just handles everything all back here. And again, if you've ever installed or paid someone to install SSL certificates and get specific pages to show up with SSL, you know how much of a pain that is. WPEngine takes care of all of that for me. It just makes my life so much easier, right? And if you come in here, you got utilities. There's a couple of things in here in the utilities thing for password protection for your production site or for your staging site. You can reset your file permissions if you upload things via SFFTP. And then you have caching, which you can turn on or off when you are working on the site and you want to disable caching for a little while so you can work on stuff. That's all right here, available for you, and you can change stuff there. I have never used the password protection on the production or staging stuff, but we might actually be using some of the password protection for some of our staging sites for our clients in the future. So that's very useful. And I'll show you a little bit more about staging in just a few minutes. And then another, again, one of my favorite features, I recently, like just this last month, transferred all about 20 sites from Rackspace Cloud Hosting to WPEngine. And they have this cool little migration checklist, and you just go through each one and you say, hey, there's 3 tasks, and you just follow the tasks in order, and they give you exact instructions on what you need to do. And you take those tasks and you check it off, and once you're done, it'll mark that as complete, all the way down to on the last one, you say, you need to upload the zip file of your existing one, and it submits a ticket, and someone on their team automatically goes through and sets everything up the way it's supposed to be. And then you can change your DNS settings so your blog is pointing or your site is pointing to WPEngine, and they'll monitor it for you and make sure they'll notify you when it shows up or if it doesn't show up. And you just go through and complete the tasks, and it makes migrating your sites really, really easy. And if you've ever moved hosts before, again, you know how hard that can be. So the fact that they really thought about this stuff ahead of time and made it so you can just come in here and follow a simple checklist and get your site on there, it just makes your life really, really easy. And if you're someone like me, who I use this for myself and then for all of my clients as well, then it makes my workflow really easy, because I can take their site off of some old server if they're on a shared server and just boop, 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 follow the tasks and move their site over to a more professional hosting environment. And I have a process that I can follow every time, or I can have one of my team members follow the process every time. I don't have to write the process out for them or tell them what they need to do. I can just go to the migration checklist, follow the steps, move the site, easy as can be, right? So that is the migration checklist. Then you have a couple other things. If you click the this PHP My Admin link, it'll pull up your PHP My Admin automatically. You don't have to type anything in. You're already you're authenticated with your password and everything, so you don't have to do anything or remember anything. And then you have access to your snapshot, which is your staging environment or your live environment, so you can go back and forth between them and make changes and stuff. If you ever need to do that in PHP My Admin, generally that's going to be more advanced than what most people do with their WordPress stuff, but they make it so it's really easy to work with stuff, and if you need the advanced stuff, it's all there, right? So there's that. And that is basically everything on the installs dashboard. And then the next one, of course, is users across the top. And I like this a lot as well, because if my clients want to have access to their hosting account, I can come in and add a user and tell them that I want it to be partial no billing, right, as an account access, and give them access to specific site, right? They can just access their one install, right, which is what some of my clients do. Not all of my clients care to have access, but some of them do. We give them access to that. And of course, like mine, I have access to all the sites, or some of my team members that I have working on development stuff, I can give them and say, hey, here's the sites that you need access to right now. And they can get in and work on those specific sites. So the user dashboard is really easy. And again, you can give your clients, if you have them, access to it, or if you have team members, you need to have access to specific sites on your install on your WPEngine account. Very, very useful there. And then the last one is you just have some settings stuff. You can see the all of your invoices that you have through the past, and you can see I've slowly moved up in how much I'm paying WPEngine to now. I'm on their business professional plan, so I'm paying, I can't remember what it is. It's like $299 plus tax, I think, for this, and it is worth every penny to have all of these things. Just it makes my life really, really easy to manage and work with. I've got 23 installs, and many of them are multi-site installs, and there's somewhere close to maybe 50 websites that I'm managing through WPEngine. Super, super easy. And one of the things I pulled up here for this screenshot was the live chat, because the live chat, you notice, is available up here. Wait time approximately 1 minute, right? I click the live chat, one minute time for that, and I actually, their engineer named Zachary popped up and said hi to me after I took this screenshot. And I was like, hey, I was just taking screenshots to do a walkthrough. But anyways, their live chat is excellent, and they always have really, really well-trained people on there. And I know they just got funding, and they added something like 40 new engineers. So they have a lot of people on staff, and they can really take advantage of it and help you with your site. Whether that's a single install, which is what I started with over with them when I started a couple of years ago, to having, at this point, when I've moved all of my sites from Rackspace Cloud, from HostGator, I've moved everything that I'm doing in WordPress onto WPEngine. And it's been really, really fantastic. And I've never really had any issues with them. And like I said, their support is just out of this world. So a couple other things I want to show you. If on your back end of your WordPress site, let me zoom in here. If you get a new little tab on your WordPress thing that says WPEngine, and you have access to a couple of settings in here. You can enable or disable your cache, just like you could on the WPEngine thing. You can enable or disable content delivery networks for any specific site. You can turn on or off some of the WPEngine admin bar stuff. And then you can have quick access to your error logs and your access logs for live and staging. And then there's even some advanced configurations, which I've never actually used, but regular expressions and stuff that it says on here that you can totally break your website. So I pretty much avoid this for most of my stuff that we're doing. And I have staff members who speak code better than I do if we need to work with any of that stuff. But so that is all in there as well. And there's a couple of other things. If you click on the staging site, that's this tab here, you have a button where you can copy your live site and everything that's there onto a staging environment. And this is really, really cool if you have an existing site and you want to start maybe working on a new theme, or if you want to work on a new feature or something like that, but you don't want to impact your current users who are, again, currently using your site and currently making you money, right? That's what I said at the beginning. If your site is making you money and you need to keep that functioning, you can come in here and click live to staging. It'll copy your entire site into the staging area. You go into the staging area and you can make changes. You can update the theme. You can write custom functionality. You can do whatever you need to do. And then you could copy it back from staging to live, which is really cool. Or you can just take the plugin that you developed or just a theme that you developed and apply it onto your live site when it's done. Because if you copy from staging to live, you'll have data issues with, if you had any new orders on your site or any new posts, they won't be in the staging site if they were added after you copied from live to staging. So, you can just take the functionality you developed and move it over. But either way, the staging environment is really cool. And because you can hide it from search engines and you can password protect it, you can make that staging area be completely private. And you can get your team or your staff to work on a completely private version of your website. You're not worried about things not functioning the way that you expect them to. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and just pop into Safari here real quick and pull out, here we go, let's see, pull out WPEngine and just show you the pricing structure, what I use and what I think the different levels are good for. So if you come to plans, they have their personal plan, which is good for one WordPress install, gets you 25,000 visitors a month. Unless you have a really big site, that should be plenty. And they just added the SSL certificates to the personal plan, which is really, really nice. It used to be only available on the professional plan. So now you can even run your e-commerce stores if you have them right off of WPEngine. And you can see their sales staff is popping right up there. Again, their sales consultants are also very helpful. So that's live chat that they'll on both ends after you create it and when you get started, and they'll let you know what'll work best for you. I started with the personal plan, had one site running on here, and then I moved to 10 sites where I was running just a few sites on there for my clients, and did that for almost a couple of years while I was still paying for Rackspace cloud hosting for the rest of my clients. And I had 10 WordPress installs there, and we started bumping up against that 100,000 visit thing. And that's when I decided, hey, I'm just going to close down Rackspace cloud hosting and moved everything over here to their business plan. And you can see I've got 25 or 23 WordPress installs already, and we're hitting about 100,000 visitors a month. And it's $250 a month. And then, whenever you need to renew your SSL certificates, I've got about 7 or 8 SSL certificates for my clients, and they all pay for those SSL certificates for me, or through me, I guess. But anyways, so that's $250 a month. So if you are running a business like mine, where you have a bunch of clients, you can do like this business plan, or if you just have your own personal site, one site that you want to install, you can do it here. Or you can do like what I was doing for a while, and if you have just several personal sites, $99 a month is really cheap to have the peace of mind and have the SSL certificates and the live chat and everything that just makes WPEngine one of the best things that I've basically ever used for hosting my websites. So that is basically everything there is to know, as far as I know, as far as people who actually use WordPress on a daily basis to build their websites. I can't recommend WPEngine high enough. You could see on my little invoice thing, I've been using them for 3 years now, since the end of 2012. Love them. And I mean, unless something drastic happens and they, stop working so well, I will be using them well into the future. So with that, thank you for spending time with me today. And I hope that WPEngine works out for you in your business.